All right, moving on from surface area, we're going to move on to volume. And we're going to find today the volume of cylinders and prisms. So volume is just the amount of space a figure takes up, the physical space the whole thing takes up, or basically what you can put inside. Water bottle is a really good example. Okay, the volume of it would be how much basic water it would take to fill it up. And this is a good shape because we're going to be talking about cylinders today. Okay. The formulas for cylinders and prisms, all of them are right here. We're going to be just concentrating on volume. Okay, remember that big B is the area of the base. And H is just the height of the figure. And the height in a prism is the height between the faces. So it's the height and it's between the faces. Okay, so it can get confusing because we're gonna, if we have triangles, we need to find the height of the triangle as opposed to the height of the whole prism. So we want to find the volume of this rectangular prism. Simplest one there is to find. Volume is just length times width times height. So I just plug these in, 6 times 5 times 12. And that puts my volume at 360 millimeters. And now, since it's taking up 3 spaces, length, width, and height, it's cubed. Okay, so 360 cubic millimeters. All right, if I want to find the volume of this triangular prism, okay, the formula is base times height, and that base is the area of the bases. So remember, the bases are the non-rectangular in this. So this is my base. So I have to find the area of that triangle first. So the area of that is 1/2 base times height. So in this case, it's a right triangle. So 1/2 times 15 times 8. So the area of that is going to be 60. Okay, so the area of my base is 60, and now I just need to plug it into the formula. So volume equals the area of the base times the height. We said the area of the base is 60. The height is the height of the figure. It's what connects the bases. So my height is 22 inches. And if I multiply that together, 60 times 22 is going to give me a volume of 1,320 cubic inches. And you might also see it written as 1,320 cubic inches. Okay, again, that's typically used more with the American measuring system, not the metric. All right, volume of a cylinder. Again, these are kind of easy. They're just plug and chug. So the volume for the formula for volume of a cylinder is pi r squared and then times the height. Okay, and it's really the same because if you think about it, that is the area of my base, pi r squared. Okay. So it really is just the same as the cylinder, but we're just specifying which one it is in here. Because with a prism, I can have all kinds of different shapes. With the cylinder, my area of my base, or my base is a circle, so that's never going to change. So pi times 6 squared times 14. Pi should always come last. when you're writing it, 36 times 14 pi. And 36 times 14 is 504. So 504 pi meters cubed. And we can leave it in terms of pi if it's not specified. If it was specified, we could just multiply this by pi. And I always use the pi button on my calculator rather than like 3.14 or whatever. So if I use the pi button on my calculator, that's going to give me approximately 1,583 and 3/600 meters cubed. Okay. And last example, we have a composite figure. And if you notice, my composite figure is made up of a rectangular prism. Okay. And then a half of a cylinder up here on top. So let's start out and let's find the volume of my cylinder. So my volume of my cylinder, and again I use that little C to find, to just notate that that's the cylinder. So r squared, so my radius is 3, so 3 squared times the height, which would actually be this part of the lunchbox, so 10, and pi. So 3 squared is 9, so 90 pi, but we only wanted half of that, okay? So half of that is going to give me 45 pi, and that is the volume of the half of my cylinder. So I'm only halfway done. The next part is to find the volume of the rectangular prism, and that is just length times width times height. So 10 times 6 times 6, which is 360. Of course, I did that in my head. I better double check because you guys know me. And it is 360. So my volume in terms of pi is going to be 45 pi plus 360. Okay, if I wanted an approximate figure, 45 times pi is 141.37 approximately plus 360, and that gives me just about 501 and 37/100ths. Okay. That's really all I have for today. It's a little shorter lesson, since some of you complain they're too long, getting too long with this. Just to recap, we're looking at volume now of all of these figures, and here are the other formulas that we've already looked at for lateral area, which is the area of the faces, and surface area, which is the area of the faces and the base. Make sure that if you have any questions on the lesson, you're ready for class tomorrow. Have a great day, night, wherever you're listening.